This is the 2018 Inter-Secondary School Debate Series brought to you by the Ministry of Education, Science and Technology in association with SugarPay. Hello and welcome to our studio and television audiences. Thank you for joining us in this second encounter in the first round of competition. In this evening's encounter, Antigua Grammar School and Clare Hall Secondary will compete in the hope of advancing in this year's series. Of course, only one team will move on. Both schools were informed and have prepared to debate the moot. Students in Antigua and Barbuda should be required to complete at least 2 years of national service by age 18. Before we move on, I will allow the team members to introduce themselves. We will begin with the proposition team, Antigua Grammar School.
I'm Daniel Antonio. I'm the first speaker.
My name is Joshua Salmon. I'm the second speaker.
My name is Shaquan Simon. I'm on the standby team.
My name is Jesse Zoman. I'm on standby.
Thank you, Team Antigua Grammar School. Now the opposing team, Team Clare Hall Secondary.
My name is Indicia Tuitt. I am the first speaker.
My name is Anya Matthews. I'm the second speaker.
My name is Jawan Roberts, and I'm the standby speaker.
Thank you very much, Team Clare Hall Secondary. At the end of this encounter, a panel of judges will select a single team to advance in the series. Joining us this evening are Mrs. Takessa Simon, educator, Mr. Sylvanus Barnes, production assistant, education broadcasting unit, and Dr. Jackie Quinn, lecturer, University of the West Indies and Charisma University, Turks and Caicos Islands. Our timekeeper this evening is Aisha Lynch. Now for the rules of this encounter. Any judge can award a maximum 40 points for content, 30 points for delivery, 20 points for rebuttal, and teamwork 10 points for an overall total of 100 points. The proposition's first speaker, Daniel Antonio, will begin the debate, followed by Indicia Tuitt of Clare Hall Secondary School. We will then move on to the second speakers from each team. First speakers will be given 5 minutes for their presentations, and second speakers 3 minutes. Following the presentations, we will move on to rebuttals. In that segment, 3 minutes will be given to each debater. Those are the rules. We will begin the competition following a word from our sponsor, SugarPay.
The sweetest way to pay is with SugarPay. SugarPay, SugarPay. At the end of the day, SugarPay. The savings will blow you away. Cause it's the safest way to pay. Use your card and
fill up your tank and take out your friends and shop for your food. Reload it again. 3 nails and hair, clothes for you for wear. No worries, our fear. SugarPay is here.
You can use your card anywhere. SugarPay. It's accepted everywhere. We have the cheapest rates. You'll feel safe. You can be a merchant in the easiest way. So contact us and sign up today with SugarPay.
Welcome back to the 2018 Inter-Secondary School Debate Series. The moot selected for this second encounter between Antigua Grammar School and Clare Hall Secondary School is students in Antigua and Barbuda should be required to complete at least 2 years of national service by age 18. Now for the commencement of this encounter, please welcome the first speaker from the proposition, Daniel Antonio, Antigua Grammar School.
Okay. Mr. Moderator, honorable judges, my worthy opponents, listening and viewing audience, good evening. Today, my colleague and I are here to propose a topic: students in Antigua and Barbuda should be required to complete at least 2 years of national service by age 18. First, allow me to define the key terms. The Merriam-Webster Dictionary defines a student as, and I quote, "a scholar or learner, especially one who attends a school," end of quote. National service is defined by National Speech and Debate Association as, and I quote, "young people doing some kind of service on behalf of their country," end of quote. Conscription, another word which can be used interchangeably with national service, means, according to the Merriam-Webster Dictionary, and I quote, "compulsory enrollment of persons, especially for military service," end of quote. Therefore, my colleague and I understand the topic to mean that before the age of 18, students ought to complete a minimum of 2 years of compulsory service to their nation. Mr. Moderator, we are in full agreement of this statement. Firstly, I will outline the ways in which national service can be served and how it will prepare youths for adulthood. And my colleague, Mr. Salmon, will indicate how national service will increase civic involvement and decrease crime rates. My worthy opponents, there is a vast number of ways to which conscription can be served in Antigua and Barbuda. Although you may say it is not in the interest of the youth, but for the government receiving free labor, I assure you this is not the case. Young individuals will be provided with the option to choose desired areas, for example, humanitarianism, which entails military service, community work, and other fields. Organizations which provide such services include the Antigua and Barbuda Cadet Corps, the Environmental Cadets, and the Tourism Cadets. Students may join the National Cadet Corps, a voluntary youth organization open to students between the ages of 12 and 19 in Antigua and Barbuda. Its main objective is to provide training and personal development to youth through both military and community activities. Then, there are the Tourism Cadets. The Tourism Cadets is a yearly youth program that exposes youth to tourism, reinforces and develops foundational skills and values such as communication skills, attitudes, and model behavior. In an interview on the 6th of February of this year with Amar Singh, Student Council President of the Tourism Cadets and Cadet of the Year 2017, he said the main advantages of being a part of the Tourism Cadets are the training obtained, increased awareness, and the education provided. He described the training as being able to go on internships and receive first-hand training. Next, he stated that there was increased awareness in tourism, in which they learned how to showcase the Twin Island destination of Antigua and Barbuda. Lastly, the education gained, as they had meetings with top persons who spoke not only on tourism, but also about character. Now imagine if each and every student were to derive these many benefits at such a young age from similar groups. If students participate in the National Service Initiative, they will be provided with skills, morals, and most importantly, experience. Experience is like gold to employers and a key factor to a good employee. Eleanor Roosevelt, the longest serving First Lady of the United States of America, politician, diplomat, and activist, once said, and I quote, "The purpose of life is to live it, to taste experience to the utmost, to reach out eagerly and without fear for newer and richer experience," end of quote. Experience is invaluable, so wouldn't it be useful to give students 2 years of experience? Don't we as students deserve to gain additional knowledge and training? These 2 years of national service could equip students with hands-on training and experience that would prepare them for college and a future career. During the 2-year period, students can also develop professional connections. These relationships could provide support and guidance to students, assisting in navigating opportunities which would lead to a successful career and future. Let's use Mr. Singh, for example. It would be rather easy for him to embark on a career in tourism due to the connections he has formed in that sector and the exposure he has received. Mr. Moderator, the age of 18 is very significant. It is the moment when minors cease to be considered children and assume legal control over themselves, their actions, and their decisions. Adulthood is filled with all types of responsibilities. The opportunity for positive environmental awareness, military training, and many other options will provide students with the elements needed for effective adult formation. The elements which national service will bestow upon students include discipline, confidence, and teamwork. As Martin Luther King Jr. once said, and I quote, "Everybody can be great because anybody can serve. You don't have to have a college degree to serve. You don't have to make your subject and your verb agree to serve. You only need a heart full of grace, a soul generated by love," end of quote. If we learn from these words and engage in national service, it will be highly beneficial to the well-being of the students of our nation, preparing them for what's to come during the period of adulthood. Therefore, I have confidence that students should complete 2 years of national service before the age of 18. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Daniel Antonio, Antigua Grammar School. First speaker proposition. Daniel, you completed your presentation in a time of 5 minutes, 46 seconds. Now, for the first speaker from the opposition, please welcome Andicia Tuitt, Clear Hall Secondary School.
Mr. Moderator, honorable judges, viewing and listening audience, my worthy opponents, good afternoon. Today I stand here representing the Clear Hall Secondary School, opposing on the topic, students should complete national service for 2 years before the age of 18. Do we really want to create an Antiguan and Barbudan society where our young people only help others because they're forced to do so? Or worse, an Antigua and Barbuda society where our military is fronted by young, developing, and innocent soldiers, all in the name of volunteerism? I disagree. National service has 3 categories: community, education, and military. Community national service involves volunteering in your local community. Education refers to voluntary academic support, and military national service is a system where people are made to serve in the military service for their country. We believe that the national service should not be compulsory for people under the age of 18 because compulsory military national service promotes violence against amongst young people, has an impact on students' mental health, and it inhibits young people's freedom of choice. Let me first begin by discussing the negative impact of military national service. Military service refers to people being signed up for military training, which includes active fighting. It is obvious that forcing young people to partake in military training will promote and normalize violence amongst influential young minds, leading to an increase in crime. This is worrying when the crime rate in Antigua and Barbuda is already on a devastating incline, with violent crimes becoming increasingly more common. It would be no surprise to see the number of violent crimes increasing as a result to young people being trained to fight as part of compulsory military service. Young people would be ready and equipped to use their newly developing skills on the streets, in schools, and even in their homes. We're not talking about some mild defense. We're talking about skills with the ability to kill and maim somebody or several persons, which, when coupled with an impressionable mind, this could be devastating for the crime rates in Antigua and Barbuda. Secondly, can we really expect all students of Antigua and Barbuda to be committed to participate in sports, extracurricular activities, homework, after classes, and still compulsory national service? Students already struggle with balancing their school life, home life, and extracurricular activities. Adding another aspect could unnecessarily create feelings of stress, anxiety, and frustration. As we have seen an unfortunate increase in the number of students' suicides and attempted suicide amongst young people in recent months in Antigua and Barbuda, we need to think deeply about the very serious and pertinent issue of young people's mental health. This additional stress and overall negative emotion caused by compulsory national service would damage students' mental health, which could also lead to the deterioration of their physical health in the long run. Lastly, compulsory national service takes away young people's freedom of choice. Forcing them to be participants can take away the pride that one feels offering their service to help others in their community. Helping others, namely through community service and educational support, should be something you do with genuine, willing, and gracious heart. And not any attitude towards completing national service could be extremely damaging to the outcome of the program and young people's attitude towards helping others. Not giving young people any choice in whether they should volunteer or not takes away young people's democracy, leading compulsory national service to be seen as an oppressive act. In fact, Nazi Germany comes to mind. In particular, Hitler-Jugend, the Hitler Youth Movement, which forced national service on young people throughout Germany during the 1930s and 1940s. Hitler used compulsory national service to promote the racist and sadistic views of the Nazi government, forcing these young people to be used as vessels for the Nazi movement. We use this example to draw reference to how damaging it can be when young people are not given their own voice, forced into national service. It is important for young people to make decisions for themselves. Being critical, thinking decision makers are key aspects of adulthood and the kind of people we want in an Antiguan and Barbudan society. In conclusions, ladies and gentlemen, we oppose compulsory national service because it can lead to an increase in violence amongst young people, impact on students' mental and physical health, inhibits young people's freedom of choice. We have to allow young people to think for themselves. We cannot and should not force them to take part in national service. Instead of making it mandatory for our youth to participate in national service, it would be more beneficial for us to encourage young Antiguans and Barbudans to serve their country of their own free will. I thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Andicia Chewit, Clare Hall Secondary School, first speaker from the opposition. She completed her presentation in a time of 5 minutes, 14 seconds. We now continue, this time with the second speakers, and we go to Antigua Grammar School and welcome the second speaker, Proposition, Joshua Salmon.
All protocols already observed, good evening. Today, I'll be expounding on 2 points that will convince you beyond any doubt that students in Antigua and Barbuda should be required to complete 2 years of national service by age 18. The first argument I wish to present is that national service will instill civic attitudes and enhance civic engagement and behaviors that result in a reduction in crime rate. According to Peter Fromkin and John Jostrab in their publication, Serving Country and Economy 2010, national service instills civic pride and discipline that a young adult by age 18 should have. These attributes can benefit a country by reducing crime rates that are caused by civic behaviors and attitudes. We live in a region where at least 1/5 of the citizens are between the ages of 15 and 24. According to Chaban 2009, and I quote, conservative estimates place annual direct expenditure on youth-related crime and violence in 5 CARICOM states, including Antigua and Barbuda, and this is between 2.8% and 4% of the gross product. This is a staggering amount of taxpayers' money, Mr. Moderator. In July of 2014, CARICOM heads of government identified 6 strategic priorities for deepening crime prevention. One of these priorities endorses the approach of fostering social inclusion as one of the pillars and states, and I quote, comprehensive policies and programs are needed to promote pro-social, non-sexual, and physically non-violent environments, end of quote. Therefore, national service guides the young person and gives them a range of important skills, opportunities for meaningful interaction with a broad range of people, which will satisfy their need for social inclusion, as well as an invaluable network of supportive individuals. Secondly, national service will result in higher academic achievement, increased likelihood of employment, and the potential for earning higher salaries. For example, the AmeriCorps, which is a national service institution in America, rewards young people who have served at least 2 years of national service with stipends and scholarships for giving to their country. Consequently, they were motivated to pursue further studies. According to a report by Voices for National Service, the skills people acquire during their national service makes them more likely to be employed and even higher salaries over the course of their lifetime. 67% of AmeriCorps states and national members and 70% of AmeriCorps members reported that their service experience provided them with an advantage in finding a job. While serving, young people acquire expertise that are practical and relevant to the non-profit sector, and the third largest industry in America's economy, employing 10.5 million workers, or 1/10 of their workforce. In conclusion, 2 years of national service should be compulsory because our country of Antigua and Barbuda would produce civil citizens by age 18 that will change our society and make Antigua and Barbuda a better place. And I thank you.
Thank you very much, Joshua Salmon, Antigua Grammar School. Second speaker from the proposition, completing his presentation in a time of 3 minutes, 3 seconds. Now for the second speaker from the opposition, please welcome Anya Matthews, Clear Hall Secondary School.
My opponent, Mr. Antonio, mentioned a quote by Roosevelt, "The purpose of life is to live it." We are not being allowed to live life if the freedom of choice is being taken away from us. Remember, my opponents think that national service should be compulsory. Keyword, compulsory. We are not being given the choice whether we want to participate in national service or not. The behaviors instilled will reduce crime rates. Are we forgetting that these are young adults that we're speaking of? They can easily be influenced by being surrounded by guns all the time. I mean, it will be a good thing for them to have the experience and they will be educated. But once again, these are young adults that are being surrounded by guns. We listen to music every day and we hear all of these things speaking about guns and drugs. Do you not think that this music will have an impact on how they see guns? Higher academic achievement. Can we please consider the students who are over 18 or 18 and they are still in school, repeating? How are we supposed to have them doing national service when they can barely focus on their schoolwork alone? This is adding extra pressure on our students. This will have a great impact on the achievement of our students because they are young people. They need to focus on their schoolwork. If they're in so many national services, how are they going to be able to focus? I thank you.
Thank you very much, Anya Matthews, Clear Hall Secondary School. The second speaker from the opposition, completing her presentation in a time of 1 minute 36 seconds. We will pause at this time to hear from our sponsor. The rebuttal segment comes up next. Stay tuned.
The sweetest way to pay is with Sugar Pay. Sugar Pay, Sugar Pay. At the end of the day, Sugar Pay, the savings will blow you away. Cause it's the safest way to pay. Use your card and
fill up your tank and take out your friends and shop for your food. Reload it again. 3 years and here, clothes for you for wear. No worries, our fear. Sugar Pay is here.
You can use your card anywhere. Sugar Pay. It's accepted everywhere. We have the cheapest rates. You'll feel safe. You can be a merchant in the easiest way. So contact us and sign up today with Sugar Pay.
Welcome back. This is the second encounter in the first round of the 2018 Intersecondary School Debate Series between Antigua Grammar School and Clear Hall Secondary School. The rebuttal segment is about to begin. In this round, a maximum 20 points can be awarded by a judge to any team. We begin with the opposing team's Anya Matthews, Clear Hall Secondary School. Anya will be given 3 minutes to complete her presentation.
Our opponents mentioned that participation in these national services will be a result of higher academic achievement. Students who are young adults tend to become stressed easily. If the young adult is still in school, they will have the pressure of school as well as the pressure of these national services, especially military, where they may feel that the weight of the country is on their shoulders. Which leads me to my next point. Not all young adults who go into the military aspects of national service will come out to be soldiers. If they enter this service already with a harmful mindset, do we think that just 2 years are going to change them? For example, if the youth is being forced into military service, already showing negative behavior, it is almost the same as sending them to juvie, because the only thing that differs is that in juvie they are being encouraged to change their ways, but if they are in these military services, they are not being encouraged, but they are being taught hands-on how to use these weapons. Talk about a future increase in crime rate. In conclusion, participation in national service should not be compulsory because they are being forced and they are not performing out of the goodness of their hearts. I thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Anya Matthews, Clear Hall Secondary School. She completed her rebuttal in a time of 1 minute, 27 seconds. To end the rebuttal segment of the competition this evening, please welcome Joshua Salmon, Antigua Grammar School.
Mr. Moderator, honorable judges, my worthy opponents, listening and viewing audiences, good evening once again. My worthy opponents, with regards to the topic debated here today, you have failed to convince us that students in Antigua and Barbuda should not be required to complete at least 2 years of national service by age 18. My worthy opponents, you stated that 2 years of national service takes away a young person's freedom of choice, but this is not so. But it can also be said that students are forced to attend school. The fact is, students are highly benefiting from attending school by gaining education, social skills, and even physical activity. It would be the same with national service. The first speaker said that participating in national service will diminish pride of our students. However, national service will instill pride as students are willing to participate in the initiative and enjoy the experience. National service does not have to only involve military training. There are numerous alternative options. As said before, they can join the National Cadet Corps. The second speaker said that national service will decrease crime rates. As students become older, they will know what's right from wrong as a result of engaging in the potential service. Also, military training provides combat skills, but not with the attention for violence against citizens combat training. In conclusion, my colleague and I stand firm on our belief that 2 years of national service should be compulsory for students before the age of 18 in order to make our country a better place and, most importantly, produce exceptional citizens for Antigua and Barbuda. And I thank you.
Thank you very much, Joshua Salmon, Antigua Grammar School, ending the rebuttal segment of the competition this evening. Mr. Salmon completed his presentation in a time of 1 minute, 45 seconds. This brings us to the end of the second encounter in the first round of the 2018 Inter-Secondary School Debate Series. Please show your appreciation to both teams for their presentations. Do stay with us. We will hear from the judges panel when we come back.
Don't miss the 2018 edition of the Inter-Secondary School Debating Competition sponsored by SugarPay.
So listen, as students across Antigua and Barbuda debate the many issues affecting us.
Be it education, health, culture, the economy, or the environment, we will dissect it for you.
So join us on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. on ABS TV or on Saturday mornings for the rebroadcast.
The 2018 Intersecondary School Debate, sponsored by Sugar Pay, on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Join us!
Thank you for staying with us. Antigua Grammar School and Clare Hall Secondary School met in this encounter. The judges have selected a winner to produce their findings and to announce the school that will advance in this series. Please welcome Dr. Jackie Quinn.
Thank you very kindly, Mr. Moderator. A very pleasant good evening to our teachers who are here, our viewing and listening audience, debaters, all good evening. The findings of the judges for this competition, we want to use our comments to enlighten schools that are participating after this presentation this evening. We felt that both teams did fairly well, with the emphasis on fairly well. It is very difficult for students to stand before an audience and to debate an argument, possibly an argument that they very well may not agree with. They may have to take a stance which is very much opposing to their personal point of view. We want to start by applauding both teams, the Antigua Grammar School and the Clare Hall Secondary School. Tonight's topic is very au courant. It is one which we hear in the public domain over the years, with persons in the public arguing back or forth on this issue of national service. Students in Antigua and Barbuda should be required to complete at least 2 years of national service by age 18. We felt that the overall standard of the debate was fair to good. The content was good, we felt. There were very good references. There was evidence of research on both sides, but more so on one side. We felt that the debaters fell down a bit in terms of their delivery. The debaters were very much married to their scripts, so it limited eye contact. In a debate, you must be able to look at the judges, at the teachers, at your fellow colleagues, and of course at the camera, the viewing and listening audience. They are the ones at home. They don't want to see your skull. They don't want to see your hairdo. They want to see your eyes and to see how convincing you are, how confident you are in presenting your arguments. So most of the speakers use a manuscript style of presentation. So all of the speech for the first part of the presentation seemed to have been written out, and so they were reading the script. We felt that if the trainers were spending more time with students, it would help them to perhaps become more familiar with the script so that they can deliver in a more confident style with more eye contact for our audience. So we felt there was too much reading, too much heavy dependence on the script. We also felt that the trainers should spend more time going over diction, clarity, pronunciation, enunciation of your words. We felt that there were too many errors, and one glaring one comes to mind. One particular speaker said, AmeriCorps. And we know that a corpse has an E at the end. So CORPS, students, is Corps, AmeriCorps, and not AmeriCorps, or Cadet Corps. Okay? The rebuttals are the most difficult part of the debate because you are prepared for the first presentation. You have gone over your speech with your parents, with your teachers, with your siblings, so you're quite prepared for the first part. But the rebuttals now, this is where you are showing to your colleagues, to the judges, to the audience, that you have critical thinking skills. You can think on your feet. You can prepare a rebuttal, an argument against your opponent's arguments in quick time. So it shows critical thinking skills, the ability to listen. Listen. Because if you're not listening, you won't hear your colleagues, your opponent's arguments. You have to listen. And then you both have to now craft a response to knock out that argument that your opponent would have given. And it also gives you the ability to speak in an impromptu fashion. You're not going to have all the notes written there as in a manuscript in your prepared text. You are now doing it more extemporaneously. So the rebuttals are very important, and we want to encourage schools who are debating next week and the following week, please spend a little more time preparing your students for the rebuttals. Now, I want to just give a few more comments about the rebuttals. We felt that one school in particular took only one argument from their opponent to rebut. Both teams had 3 minutes to rebut. The Antigua Grammar School used 1 minute and 45 seconds. The Clare Hall Secondary used 1 minute and 27 seconds. That is poor management of time. You have all of this time and you have not used it wisely. You have underutilized the time because perhaps you are not prepared enough to rebut each argument of your opponent. We felt that one school was able to take at least 3 points of their opponent's argument and rebut. Give a strident response to the opponent's arguments. Rebutting really is about tearing apart your opponent's arguments and letting your audience understand they're not saying nothing. They're not saying a thing. They're not making the case. We also encourage humor. We didn't find any of that at all tonight. We encourage the use of a little of the vernacular, just like I did just now. You can use a little dialect in your presentation and then switch back, of course, very seamlessly to the standard English. It helps to enliven the debate. It helps to give some, freshness, a little of our culture injected into the debate. So these are some of the tools which going forward schools can use to enliven their debate and give us a little more excitement in their presentations. Now, I hope those comments were useful. We had a few comments on each speaker, but I don't think we will go into comments on each speaker, but just to announce to you that we felt the better debater in the propositions team, the Antigua Grammar School's team, was Daniel Antonio. The better debater in the opposition's team, we felt, was Andicia Tuitt, Clare Hall Secondary. We're going to move into the scores now. And I want to indicate that we have judged this debate on 4 main categories: content, and they could get a score of 40 points, delivery, 30 points, rebuttal, 20 points, and teamwork, 10 points. Content, delivery, rebuttal, and teamwork. Out of a total of 100 points, the Clare Hall Secondary School amassed 46 points. Out of a total of 100 points, the Antigua Grammar School amassed 73 points. The winner of tonight's debate between the Antigua Grammar School and the Clare Hall Secondary School is the Antigua Grammar School. Please give them a round of applause. Now, the person who would have attracted the judges to his or her presentation, his delivery, his style, his confidence, whether or not he exuded that charm and was able to convince us enough to be adjudged the best speaker, the best overall speaker for tonight, is Daniel Antonio from the Antigua Grammar School. Congratulations to both teams.
Thank you very much, Dr. Quinn. Congratulations to Team Antigua Grammar School. Now for closing remarks from both teams. First, please welcome Andicia Tuitt, Clare Hall Secondary School.
Good evening once again. With a grateful heart, we would like to thank our teammates and our teacher, Ms. Thomas, for supporting us. We'd like to thank the moderator, the judges, and the viewing and listening audience for listening. We congratulate our opponents on their winning tonight, and once again, we thank you.
And thank you, Andicia Tuitt, Clare Hall Secondary School. Now, for the winning team, please welcome Daniel Antonio, Team Antigua Grammar School.
Okay, I would like to thank our family and friends that attended, that helped all of us. I would like to thank the opposing team for doing a great job, try their best. I'd like to thank the judges, the moderator. Thank you again.
Thank you very much, Daniel Antonio. And that's all the time we have this evening. Thank you so much for joining us. We hope you can tune in next time as the 2018 Intersecondary School Debate Series continues. For now, we say goodbye.
Don't miss the 2018 edition of the Intersecondary School Debating Competition sponsored by SugarPay.
So listen, as students across Antigua and Barbuda debate the many issues affecting us.
Be it education, health, culture, the economy, or the environment, we will dissect it for you.
So join us on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. on ABS TV or on Saturday mornings for the rebroadcast.
The 2018 Intersecondary School Debate, sponsored by SugarPay, on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Join us!
Visit us on Facebook at Ministry of Education, Science and Technology-Education Broadcasting Unit.